couldn't see Dad's face, but the lady turned to him. "She'll be all right. We'll just stick her in here." I smile and say nothing because I don't dare complain. The cramped pram is my bed for the night. With my eyes closed, I pretend to sleep. I hear voices and the sound of a door closing. The adults have disappeared, and suddenly, I am all alone. There's the faint sound of footsteps as the lady's heels click-clack down the hallway and the banging of the door to a downstairs bedroom. Muffled laughter floats from underneath the door as I hear sounds of the blonde lady and my father together. I can't see them, but I know something is happening and I'm not wanted. I close my eyes and try to remember my mother, but it was like trying to catch a cloud in my hands. Without a photograph, the image I had of her in my head thinned and evaporated until I was left with nothing. Dad had told me my mother abandoned me when I was a baby. He said she was an Irish gypsy with bright red hair and that being a gypsy's daughter made me a tinker. I imagined her riding wild and free on horseback, her long flaming red hair trailing behind, a Celtic beauty. I prayed that she'd come back for me. But as the days and months passed, I realised I'd probably never see her again. Dad told me she'd left when I was 11 months old and still in nappies. He said she'd remembered to pack her prized possessions, her fine trinkets and best porcelain, but had left me behind like a pile of old rags. I watched the door, hoping she'd return for me. Meanwhile, our house was never short of women. To the outside world, Dad was a real charmer, with an eye for the ladies. Tall, with dark coiffed hair, everyone said he was a dead ringer for Elvis Presley. But he was my dad, and I'd seen the other side of him. He used his good looks to snare any pretty ladies who crossed his path. But this blonde lady was unusual because she'd stayed longer than the rest. Her name was Marion. Although our house had no carpet and a small gas fire in the front room, Dad always seemed to find enough money to take Marion out. By now, I was 5 years old, but I was always left alone when they went for a night down the pub. Our council house was pretty basic. We lived in a 3-bedroom mid-terrace with a brown leather couch that doubled as a spare bed downstairs. My bedroom was at the back of the house, and it contained a single bed and a large walnut wardrobe that had been pushed up against the wall. I was expected to stay up in my bedroom all day, especially when Marion called around. One afternoon, I heard the front door slam and the sound of her high heels on the bare wooden floorboards. The smell of her perfume wafted along the hallway, filling the house, and then Dad's bedroom door closed. There was laughter and the sound of glasses being chinked downstairs in the kitchen, and I smelled Marion's perfume as she climbed the stairs and opened up my bedroom door. She was holding something in her hand, and it took me a moment to register what it was because it seemed so out of place. It was an egg box. She took a step forward and gave it to me. "If you need to go to the toilet, use this. That way you won't go traipsing around the place, making a commotion, flushing all the time," she insisted, pushing the small grey carton into my hands. "And don't go near the window or the curtains." I watched as Dad carried the old stepladder and perched it underneath the attic hatch. Reaching up, he lifted off the attic door, leaving a black hole in the ceiling. "Barbara, come over here." Marion beckoned me forward. I wandered towards her, all the time keeping my eye on the hole above her head. "See that?" she said, pointing up at it. "That's where the monster lives. If you come out of the room when me and your dad are out, then he'll jump down and eat you up." I gasped and stepped back into the safety of my bedroom. I glanced up at the open space, my eyes searching for the monster. "Don't worry." Her voice softened a little. "As long as you stay inside your room and be a good girl, he won't hear you or gobble you up. Do you understand?" I nodded, but inside my chest, my heart was beating furiously. I was terrified. "Good girl," she said, ruffling her hand through my blonde hair. "Now I've made you something to eat." She was holding a milk bottle full of water. "No, it's inside the egg box. Go on, open it up." I lifted the cardboard lid.